It's crazy to me that we're on the map. 6 months later, and now everybody knows where Newtown is. Communities like ours don't just form themselves. They come from strangers wanting to come together for the greater good of their neighborhood. And we need more of that nowadays, am I right? I grew up going to all of the schools here. It's the lifeblood of this town. Specifically Sandy Hook. It's always been Sandy Hook for the most part. On December 14th, 2012, Adam Lonzo walked into Sandy Hook Elementary School, killing 26 students and faculty before taking his own life. Stories like these should not be political ones. However, sadly, these stories only remain in our news cycle for a specific amount of time, and they only remain there while certain members of political parties maintain political messages from them. This is a rare viewing as to how people in these communities respond after the fact. These are the real words of the communities of Newtown 6 months after the Sandy Hook shooting. This is 26 Pebbles by Eric Uola. Thank you. I was at a doctor's appointment that morning at about 9:45 for my little one. She had an ear infection. I was talking to one of the moms and I didn't really realize what was going on, but then she said, "It's at the school. I got 2 girls at that school." So I pick up my phone and they said that we could go to the firehouse to pick up all of our children. And it was like the floodgates just came rushing in that moment. Police, firemen, personnel, you name it, the world was coming. It was in that moment that I realized this was truly significant. I approached the firehouse, and there was this female FBI agent, and she was saying, "I want you to go over your class roster. For anyone who was there that day, who you saw leave the building, put a check. Anyone who was absent, put an X. And third category, anyone who you saw that day but you did not see with your own eyes leave the building, put a circle." I was just in this state of panic because I was calling my husband, but he wasn't answering. And then this announcement came over and it said that the shooter was found dead in a classroom. In a classroom? I watched as the numbers went from a handful to 20. I thought, wow, we topped Columbine. I saw my son's teacher with all of the students holding hands behind her, but I didn't see my son. And I got this panic inside, but then I picked up my phone and my husband called me and I said, "Okay." But there was this back room for the parents of those kids who got that circle on their name. Coroners started coming. The governor was there. The governor had to make the decision. He told them they weren't coming out. People fell on their knees, some crying. One started praying, and then another, and another. And it was like this mass get-together of every single religion you can think of. And I just thought, what happened? What happened here? And at the magnitude of every flag in the nation at half staff for Newtown? What happened? 26 pebbles. 26 pebbles all drop in a pond, and this is life. This stuff spreads. Miss Hotstrung is gone. I told my older daughter, and she just started crying because she loved her so much. And I told my younger daughter, and she just put her hands over her ears and said, I don't want to hear anymore. And then I told my son his best friend was gone. Just think of the brutality of it, you know? How could any God let this happen? I do think I prayed more to Gaia. It is my personal belief that these souls will be back on this earth. I hope she brings them back quickly, you know? This is not an act of God. This is an act of man. God gave us free will, so senseless deaths and shootouts do happen every single day in this country. I personally believe in forgiveness, so I always have 28 candles out, not 26. One for Adam and one for his mother. It's a sensitive issue, 28 or 26. So people keep telling me, God gave us free will. He did this. It wasn't really God's doing. It was his free will. But then I guess my questions are, if he really had a mental illness, is it really free will? And then my daughter asked me, well, if he's sick, is he really an evil person? What if he's sorry? Does he still have to go to hell? These are questions that we as adults do not have the answers to. They saw everything. There's going to be trauma. You see, they seem okay for a while, but then my son started showing signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD, it was noises, it was the locking of all the doors. We had to make sure all the doors were locked. If somebody even opened the garage door, he would think someone was coming into our house. We still don't know everything that's broken because we're still discovering it. You know, I've been looking into Columbine. And the principal there, she was saying that she had kids graduate high school, turn out fine. Graduate college, turn out fine. Get married, fine. Have babies, and then bam! They're just to pieces. We still don't know everything that's broken because we were not given the time to truly grieve for these babies. But I remember the day that the flag came back up. I called the guy who works on all my buildings and I said, David, I want that flag up big and high in the center of the city. And I just thought, we are getting our town back. People on Facebook, as amazing as they are, they decided that it'd be a great idea to start sending teddy bears to Newtown. You see, my son, he just received one this last week, and we just getting bags and bags and bags full. And then I just think about those kids in Chicago who die every single year to probably pretty poor moms. They grow up with violence, and yet nobody does anything for those parents. We didn't really need 63,700 teddy bears. So we rippled out. We sent some to Ghana, and we sent some to the police station so they can have them back in their cars again. We sent them to women's shelters. We sent them to the kids who need them. See, this stuff spreads. This stuff, it ripples out. I was at my synagogue the other day with my son, and I asked him, I said, do you want me to say anything? And he said, yeah. So I got up there and I said, this is my son. He was there. He survived. And everyone was just shocked I even said anything. And then he got up in front of the whole congregation and he said, every day there are shadows, but every day there's also light too. Newtown is still our home. We are just going to continue working on our families and continue our counseling. We are love. We are Newtown. And that message says it all. Thank you.